What if I told you that one of the most important bacteria in your gut survives by moving electrons? Not metaphorically, literally. Today we're talking about one of the true VIPs of the gut microbiome, Faecalibacterium Prausnitzii. If you work in gut health, you've heard the name. If you live with Crohn's or colitis, this organism matters more to you than you might realize, because when it disappears, inflammation often rises. But here's the twist. This bacterium is supposed to be extremely oxygen sensitive. It should die within minutes of air exposure. And yet, it hangs out right next to your gut lining, exactly where oxygen leaks out from your own cells. So how is it surviving there? That is what today's episode is about. You need to meet your butyrate producer. But first, why do we even care about this microbe? Because Faecalibacterium makes butyrate, and butyrate is the preferred fuel for your colon cells. It feeds the lining of the gut, supports barrier integrity, calms inflammation, protects against colitis. In healthy people, this bacterium can make between 5 to 20% of the total gut microbiome. In Crohn's disease, it often drops dramatically. So understanding how it survives is not just academic, it is clinically relevant. And here's the paradox. Picture the gut like a beach. Out in the ocean, there's almost no oxygen. That is where strict anaerobes thrive. But at the shoreline, where your gut lining meets the lumen, oxygen seeps out from your epithelial cells, your gut lining cells. That area should be hostile territory for strict anaerobes, yet this bacterium lives there. For years, nobody could quite explain it, until this 2012 study uncovered something fascinating. The researchers showed that Faecalibacterium prausnitzii survives at oxygen-rich boundaries by using something called an extracellular electron shuttle. This is where we start to get quantum, so let me translate this. This bacterium moves electrons outside of itself. It uses small molecules called flavins, think riboflavin, vitamin B2, and it uses thiols, think cysteine and glutathione. Here's what happens. The bacterium eats glucose, it generates energy and produces electrons. Instead of letting those electrons build up, it hands them off. Flavins carry the electrons outside the cell. Oxygen or other molecules accept them. It is basically running a tiny electrical circuit at the gut lining. That allows it to tolerate oxygen. That also allows it to survive at the mucosal interface. Now, I think this is extraordinary, but I may be a bit of a geek about this stuff. But here's what's interesting. The scientists actually measured electricity, and this is my favourite part. The researchers placed the bacteria in a microbial fuel cell. Without riboflavin, nothing happened. After that was added, the bacteria generated measurable electrical current. Think about that. A gut bacterium generating current. This is not just fermentation. This is bioelectric life. So this is why riboflavin and glutathione matter. For this system to work, two things are needed. Flavins like riboflavin and thiols like cysteine or glutathione. But where do these come from? They come from the diet and our own gut lining. Now let's connect this to inflammatory bowel disease. When it comes to inflammatory bowel disease, something I often think about is oxidative stress and redox imbalance. In Crohn's and colitis, we often see increased oxidative stress, depletion of glutathione, damaged mucosa, altered redox environment. This study suggests something profound. If thiols are depleted and redox balance is disturbed, this bacterium may lose its survival advantage. And if it cannot survive at the mucosal interface, you lose a major butyrate producer. This means you lose fuel for colonocytes or cells of your intestine. You lose anti-inflammatory signaling, and that could accelerate the inflammatory cycle. So this is not just about microbes. This is about electrons. It is about redox balance. It is about the biochemical environment you create. Most conversations about the microbiome focus on fiber, diversity, probiotics, all important if taken within context. But this study reminds us of something deeper. The gut ecosystem is electrical. It is redox driven. It depends on electron flow, and that means micronutrients, antioxidants, and cellular metabolism are not side notes. They are central. When we talk about supporting people with IBD, we cannot ignore micronutrient status such as riboflavin, glutathione status, oxidative stress, and barrier health, because those factors may directly determine whether beneficial organisms like Faecalibacterium can survive. What if dysbiosis is not just about killing bad bugs? What if it is about restoring the electrical and redox environment that allows the right microbes to thrive? What if the microbiome is less about species lists and more about electron flow? That changes the frame entirely. So next time someone tells you bacteria are simple organisms, remember this. One of the most important bacteria in your gut survives by running a tiny electrical circuit at the mucosal surface. And when that system fails, inflammation may follow. That is not just microbiology, that is bioelectric ecology. If you're thinking, okay, but how do I apply this to my own Crohn's or colitis? I cover exactly that in my free masterclass. It's a deeper dive into the gut barrier, energy production, and what really drives inflammation. The link's in the description.